going on, Jerome? So, of course, we know that Kwesi adofo-mensah has absolutely cooked and gotten after things in free agency this offseason. And the Vikings have been racked up and stacked up, doubling down on needs, brought in Jordan Mason, bring in Rondale Moore, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, as well as Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, Isaiah Rodgers, Jeff Okudah. Eric Wilson is back too. So the Vikings have done some amazing things at free agency. But even though the draft is coming up, the Vikings still have room to add a little bit in free agency. Now, you do have to be worried about the compensatory picks. And Kwesi is obviously very aware of that. Right now, the Vikings are looking at a third and a fourth in 2026. But after the draft or cheap contracts, I think the Vikings certainly could and should be partaken. So here are 10 value free agents for the Vikings. And there's still some big names out there on the market. And you look at Amari Cooper and stuff like that. Although, not going to be an on-Coop. Anyways, but first off, so quarterback 2, Flacco, Tannehill, I consider them about the same. Like, I'm pretty nonchalant about either one. I do think that Tannehill, if everything is equal, I think Tannehill, given age as well as given his mobility, could make some more sense. And frankly, it might be good that he sat out last season, physical health-wise. Flacco, I mean, he started last year and did some okay things with the Colts. Actually, he was kind of bad. But you're not bringing him in to start. That's the thing. You want him to be a reliable veteran backup, and that's either one of them could bring that to the table. Number 2, so Wentz is interesting. And I know that Carson Wentz is polarizing, but former NDSU Bison. But it's in a day and age when backup quarterback is so valuable, Carson Wentz is going to be on a 6th different team in 6 seasons, right? And it's weird, isn't it? And it didn't end well with the Colts, the Commies, as well as went to the Rams, went to the Chiefs. But I don't know. But it does all harken back. Hey, 2017, he was second team All-Pro. He was in the MVP conversation before he tore his ACL. It's weird. But Wentz, he does have some physical tools. But again, why does he bounce around so much? How come no one wants him, man? I don't get it. Next up, number 3, old school, of course, Brandon Scherff. Now, I think Scherff could be an option for the Vikings if the Vikings don't draft a set and forget it starting left guard, right? So you look in the draft, you look at Booker, you look at Jackson, you look at Ratledge, maybe in the middle rounds, you look at Zabel in the first round. If the Vikings don't go that route, I think they could visit a guy like Brandon Scherff. Now, I considered Scherff and Zach Martin and Zeitler in the same strata, but Zeitler signed as well as Zach Martin retired. But Scherff can still get the damn thing done. Again, I've wanted Scherff ever since he came out of Iowa. Just those rock solid Hawkeye offensive linemen. 74.5 PFF pass line grade, 0 goose egg, D'Angelo Russell sacks last year. Now, it does look like the Vikings are going to have Will Fries at right guard, which makes sense. And Scherff's only played right guard during his NFL career. Like, he literally has no other snaps elsewhere. So it could be a shift for him, but it's something that the Vikings would consider. Next up, number 4, Nick Chubb. Now, again, this might be a little bit of nostalgia because Nick Chubb is a bad dude. And yes, he is coming off that horrific knee injury from 2 years ago. But as a running back 3, he's going to be cheap. He can do it all. He's got a little bit of power. He's a great leader in that locker room. But even though the Vikings do have Aaron Jones, the Vikings do have Jordan Mason, I mean, do they have room for a veteran running back 3? Sure. I think it's certainly possible. Plus, his contract isn't going to break the bank. Plus, it would just break the hearts of Browns fans. Like, they want Nick Chubb back bad. But we'll see. Next up, number 5. So this is a projection, and also I know that there's going to be a lot of NDSU Bison on this list, and you're like, oh, you're just biased. I don't give 2 poops about the Bison, but Dylan Radins, he fits the mold of formerly a highly drafted guy, physically gifted guy that hasn't panned out. So he was drafted by the Tennessee Titans in 2021, second-round pick, the pride of Becker, Minnesota, by the way. He's 6'6", 301, great movement skills, but it just hasn't worked out. Now, you could potentially work him in as a swing backup, someone who can back up the guard spots as well as tackle spots, and local kid, good athleticism. You're betting on that upside. Do you bring him in to start? No. But do you bring him in cheap as some depth along the offensive line? Yes, I think that certainly is possible. Next up, number 6, Trevis Gibson. So, not going to lie, I've loved Trevis Gibson ever since he came out of Tulsa. Ended up being a 5th-round pick by the Bears, did some okay things with Chicago. But Gibson can just get his. And you do need that where in terms of niche players, in terms of a guy who can play a specific role, a guy who can play 10, 12, 15 snaps a game and just consistently get after the quarterback, Gibson is it. And he's bounced around a little bit, went to Jacksonville, was traded to the Seahawks last year, but he's 6'4", 263, 11 career sacks. He's going to be cheap, and also he's just someone that you could bring in off of the bench and get a little something, where he could play stand-up outside linebacker, he can play some 5-tech, he could play some wide 9, he could do a lot of things. So Gibson, again, is a guy that I've liked for a while, and he's going to be dirt cheap. Bring him on in. Next up, number 7, Reisner. So we talked about Reisner. And Reisner, it could be a lot like Brandon Scherf's situation, but it really is more of a guy that you know versus a guy that you don't. And also, Dalton Reisner's played a lot of left guard throughout his career. Basically, every single season of his NFL career before last year, he's played left guard. And if the Vikings, like we said, don't address left guard in the draft specifically, you could bring Reisner back in to compete with Brandel, Rouse, Juergens, etc. for that left guard spot. And you know him, spent a couple years in the system, goes way back with Cooper all the way back to Denver. And I don't know, Reisner's so weird, where every single year he plays aight, but then like there's no demand for him in free agency. It's just odd. Anyways, number 8. I got Shaq Griffin. I want Shaq back. All right, so Griffin, he ain't going to break the bank. He is 29. Played 597 snaps for the Vikings on defense last year. 76.2 quarterback rating, 2 interceptions, 2 picks. And overall, like, does he move the needle a ton? No. Is he a solid veteran backup that you can rely on? Yes. And the Vikings, they got a lot of potential in that room. You got Murph back on a premium deal. Rodgers is going to be great on the outside. Blackman, I think, has a chance to be a starter. Nudie, I think, deserves some more work. Tavier Thomas can work the slot. Jeff Okudah, you don't really know. But bringing Shaq into that room, I think, would make some sense, especially if the Vikings don't go cornerback high in the draft. Say they don't go with Amos or Ravel or Barron or Morrison early on, and the Vikings look to add a veteran after the draft. I think that could make some sense. Next up, number 9. Speaking of veteran corners, so Mike Hilton. Again, I've been very upfront with my love and adoration for Mike Hilton. Him and Kenny Moore are my 2 favorite slot corners in the National Football League. Kenny Moore of the Colts, and Hilton, he's just a dude. He's just tough in the slot, and he's been a big part of that Lou Anarumo defense. And they let him go. His projected spot rack at $12 million. He's not getting that. No, I probably see him more as 5, 6, 7 million per year at this point, but he's tough, blitzing slot cornerback. Plus, if you do have Hilton and Murph on the team together, like, you can have Hilton operating in the slot, you can have Murph working more on the outside, so he doesn't have to be specifically in the slot when the Vikings go sub package. So I think that would be a nice luxury for the team to have, and you just get a tough, hard-nosed player, pound for pound, one of my favorites in the league. Lastly, number 10. Yes. No pants for Trey Lance. And again, he's only 24, and he's really only played 1 season of college football. And Lance, frankly, I think the 49ers did Trey Lance a disservice by trading up and getting him. All this pressure, all this expectations on a player that needed time to develop. He needed reps. And, of course, Kevin O'Connell being the quarterback whisperer. And for my next trick, now, you wouldn't be bringing in Lance as your backup quarterback. I don't think that you would go down that route, even though there's talk, well, Trey Lance wants to go somewhere where he can compete to start. Good luck with that. But bringing him in as the quarterback 3, maybe even quarterback 4, working with his coaching staff, breaking things down, building them back up mechanically, and I think that you could potentially get something out of Trey Lance. It didn't happen with the 49ers. They didn't have time for him. It didn't happen with Dallas. I think they're incompetent. But getting him here back to the great state of Minnesota and the pride of Marshall, Minnesota, I can get some things done. So that's it. That's at 10. 10.5. Remaining value free agents for the Vikings. Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.